Garnish with cilantro and green onions. Celery here too. Okay, so we'll let that sit. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Taste Love. I'm Vanessa, and lately I've been on a stew kick, so I thought I'd make a really classic Vietnamese dish known as bò kho, more commonly known as Vietnamese beef stew. I wanted to share with you a dish that everybody loves worldwide, and it's a little complicated, but once you put it in a pot, you just let it sit for about an hour and a half, and then afterwards it's done, and then it's ready to be served. So let's talk a little bit about the ingredients today. 2 pounds of beef chuck. I also have here about 200 grams tendon. I really think the tendon gives it that nice texture balance, and tendon is very, very common in bò kho. Okay, so for the vegetables, carrots. I had some celery in my fridge. We're going to add onion, so 1 whole onion, a little bit of ginger. We're going to add in garlic, so we'll add in about 4 cloves of that. This here is a cinnamon stick, so you'll want to put in 1 cinnamon stick, which is roughly about 2 inches long. Star anise. Over here, I have Chinese 5 spice. I have here about a tablespoon of soy sauce, our beloved fish sauce. We have here 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, and at the very end, we are going to garnish it with more fresh herbs. This is going to bring out the acidity, the freshness of the stew. I have here some cilantro, some green onions. I have here 2 limes. Basil is always a good complement to any type of soup or Vietnamese stew, so we're going to add that in there. And we're going to head to the kitchen, which I already have a pot of water, so I have about 3 cups of water in there. I have it boiling, and I have 1 chicken bouillon cube in there. All right, guys, let's head to the kitchen. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have the pot of water, and I have the chicken bouillon cube in there. So we're gonna let that boil. In the meantime, I have here a pan. I have that on medium to high heat, and I am actually going to mince up garlic roughly. Browning the beef is really crucial because it gives it that nice crispy brown look, and then it locks in the juices as well, so that once you do stew the beef, it's just going to retain all that yummy flavor. So, okay, I am going to cut up the lemongrass. So lemongrass is an essential when it comes to bò kho. We're only going to use the white parts. With lemongrass, you always want to make sure that you bruise them. I'm going to cut up another onion here. So let's go ahead and add oil to our pan here. So I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon. Everybody makes bò kho a little bit differently, especially if it's a family recipe. I know in some bò kho recipes, it calls for coconut water or coconut soda, but because I had tenderized the beef with Coca-Cola, I didn't want to add more sweetness to it, so I think that that's perfect enough. Everything's smelling really amazing. All of those herbs in there, and the onions and the garlic. While that is sauteing, I'm actually going to cut up a tendon here. This will go in about halfway through, so roughly about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm going to add in the beef now. Okay, so we'll let that sit for a few minutes. Okay, Okay, so while we have the meat cooking here in the pan, I am going to actually chop up all of the other things and put it into the satchel that I have here. This is where all of the spices are going to go into. I have here the star anise, that's going to go in there. Going to throw in the cinnamon stick. I'm also going to chop up this ginger here. You can find these at the store when you're buying the star anise and the cinnamon. Sometimes they'll have packs of the spices sold all together, and it comes with this because it's very common for Vietnamese cuisine for soups. You just dump the whole satchel in there, and it's so neat. You just pull it out at the very end. You don't have to worry about it. It's not at the bottom of your pot. So I'm going to cut up the carrots. I'm going to cut them into 1-inch cubes here. I'm going to cut them into little triangular shapes. And now I'm actually going to cut up the rest of this. So this is the lemongrass. So we'll cut them into 1-inch. I love this thing so much. I use this when I make pho, when I make bún bò Huế. So that's it, guys. All of these herbs go in here. I'm going to tie this around so that it doesn't come out later. This prevents any of the herbs from burning at the bottom of the pot. It's typically so hard to scrape them off later. So, you can smell the ginger, the lemongrass. So I'm actually going to throw this into the pot right now, get that going. And now I'm going to get back to the beef here. I'm going to put in the nước mắm, the soy sauce, a little bit of the 5-spice. Stir that up. Then I'm going to actually add in the tomato paste here. It smells so lovely. Going to toss this until all of the beef has been coated with the seasoning and the tomato paste. I actually have some paprika, so I'm going to just sprinkle just a little bit on it. So I'm actually going to add in the remainder of the tomato paste, bringing that to a full 3 tablespoons. I am going to cut up the celery. So we're only going to use the stalks. Once again, the celery is optional. I'm actually going to keep the leaves. What I do sometimes is I make a broth and I add the celery leaves in there. It really gives it a nice kick. This looks just about ready to be dumped into the pot. But that's it. So we will go ahead and cover this with a lid. We'll add in the vegetables and the tendon towards the end, and then we'll sit down and we'll enjoy it together. Okay, I'm also going to add in the carrots and the celery. That's really going to bring out a natural sweetness to the bok choy. And that's it, guys. I'm going to now put the lid back on, not worry about it for 30 minutes, and we'll come back to it, and it should be just about ready to go. Alright everyone, so the bok choy is finally finished. I've been waiting patiently for 2 hours. My whole house smells amazing, and I just can't wait to dig in. So I wanted to show you the finished results. Look how yummy that is. The carrots are cooked perfectly. The beef is braised to perfection. The celery adds a very nice touch to it. I garnished with basil. I garnished with cilantro and green onions. I have here some white rice, well, green rice. I still have some leftover pandan rice, and I am going to now just smother the rice with the beef stew. Let's try the broth. Oh my gosh. It has been braised perfectly. You taste every ingredient almost. I'm actually going to now dig into this beef here. With that being said, it's so yummy. Let me try this celery here too. The celery has soaked in all of the flavors. It's so yummy. You can taste the gravy in there. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw tonight. Bok choy is one of my favorites. It's a classic dish. You can share this with family. Great comfort meal. It's something that brings me back, once again, to days when my mom would cook this. She'd make a big pot and we'd have this for 2 to 3 days. So this is actually going to last a couple of days. Can't wait. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this dinner. Please leave a comment, please like, please subscribe. Let me know what you think when you make bok choy. More importantly, if you want to see me make some other dishes, Vietnamese, Thai, Korean, American, Italian, you name it, leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to make that for you. All right, have a great one, guys. Take care.